Good morning and welcome to Bendat Stadium here in Perth for the Australian Men's and Mixed Netball Championships for 2023. It's finals day. We've got a 3 and 4 semi-final right now, so the next 60 minutes will determine who goes through to the preliminary final later on this afternoon. We have the 2022 reigning champs, Queensland Suns, up against the South Australian Dragons. My name is Mandy Love, and joining me today in commentary is Dan Cook. Dan, welcome.
Thanks for having me. Super excited it is semi-final day.
I am so excited. Finals day is a completely different, kettle of fish altogether. You know, in this division alone, there are 6 teams and they play 10 rounds throughout the course of the week, and then they now have to back it up in come finals time. So in previous rounds, you know, the last time these two teams met earlier in the week, we had the South Australian Dragons getting up 51-45 in round 3 on a Monday night. And then when they met later on in the week on Wednesday, round number 8, Queensland getting up 54-39. But all of that means nothing when it comes to this next 60 minutes. Dan, who do we have starting for the South Australian Dragons today?
So the South Australian team starting in goal shooter is Taylor, in at goal attack Sampson, wing attack is Dutram, at centre we've got Hay, in wing defence is Maharis, goal defence Searle, and at goalkeeper is Ashworth. And Queensland starting off in goal shooter with Thompson, in at goal attack is Jordan, wing attack is Crone, at centre Morton, wing defence we've got Holcroft, goal defence is Vincent Cook, and at goalkeeper is Watson.
And what particular matchups are you most looking forward to on court today?
Yeah, I think for me the matchup between the South Australian goaler Sampson and Vincent Cook in the defensive end, he was fantastic for them last year in the final. It's the last time I actually got to see him play, and he was fantastic on the court. Sampson I've seen a couple of times this week, and he just takes control of that front end for South Australia, so I think that's a matchup for us to look out for. The other one is the other end as well. We've got Thompson. What a superstar. I think that he is up against Ashworth, who's been a linchpin in the defensive end for South Australia.
Absolutely, and it'll be the Dragons to start us off this morning. So that'll be through their centre in Hay. So connects and finds circle edge. And then he lines up the shot. And great start for the Dragons here through their goal shooter in Taylor.
Yeah, just the start that South Australia would have wanted, their goal straight through the ring.
And, you know, for those viewing at home, the Dragons had a really tough day yesterday. They had to beat Victoria in order to make the 4, and hoping that West Australia got New South Wales under control in their final round match so they could actually participate in this semi-final today. Yeah,
interesting week for them. They've been able to pick up a draw against Western Australia, a win over Victoria, a little bit inconsistent throughout the rest of the championship though, which meant that they sat on that borderline of making the finals.
But, you know, they're here now, so it's, you know, what does this next 60 minutes unfold for both sides? Their destiny is in their hands. And that's another shot from Freddie Taylor. So how do the Suns respond? They've gone to their captain in Cron, who gets a possession call. And nice spatial awareness from Thompson in that goal shooter, protecting his space. And the offload from Jordan.
Yeah, Thompson's great in the front space, does look for that ball often. The good thing with Thompson is that he is always ready when that ball hits circle edge.
And there's Sampson with the ball, connecting out. So Taylor out, swings the ball to pocket. Oh, loose. A bit of a loose feed and a loose sort of final connection from the centre in Hay. You can spot him. He's got the lovely cornrows going on with the hairstyles. Oh, great defensive pressure from the Dragons here, just keeping them to their pocket. So they're going to have to work really hard, the Suns, to get out of this third. And they have a patient build-up to exit out. And look at all the attackers punching up at the same time. And no one left, and there's Jordan, ever so reliable down the back end in goal attack. Has been running a lot of goal defence this week as well, so he swings both ends. And that's Thompson with the ball in hand. He's been a steady influence for the Suns this week. He'll probably be a lot of their go-to man, while Jordan is more of plays that connecting role. Yeah,
definitely. You can see the way that Queensland bring the ball through the court. Jordan is there to connect it. Thompson anchors the back.
And just the battle of the legs as they're sort of jostling for position. And nice little around the body pass by Jordan. Finds Thompson, his first miss today. And we'll get the offensive, or the contact call against Jordan. And the Dragons have a relatively easy run down court in this passage. Not a lot of defensive hands-over pressure by the Suns.
Yeah, I feel that the South Australian end is a slightly more measured and waiting to see what it is that comes free. Not really going quickly, but able to keep possession of the ball. Queensland seem to have their stuff together and moving the ball quickly through the court.
Yep. So different styles stylistically, but both equally as effective as each other. So both sides having a break. Now it's the Dragons centre pass. And nice little front cut there from the goal shoot. Oh, he's on song early.
Yeah, Freddie Taylor just popping forwards there. Great roll into the front space. Turns confident shot.
This is what you like to see in finals netball, when all the sort of the stars rise to the top. And Cron just couldn't keep it in. So can the Dragons capitalise on this opportunity here? Just on the sideline at the moment. They need to centre it. And it's like you mentioned before, it's a patient build-up from the Dragons, isn't it?
Yeah, very.
They're making sure that they've got like 2 leads to the ball, but at different times, so they're not both running on the 1 second. And turnover ball there. And that's a real shame. You know, that was a real moment in order to turn this game on its head, and gets the touch to it as well. That's great defensive pressure from from Ashworth at the back. Oh, interrupts Holcroft.
Yeah, I feel like Dutram's actually finding a lot of space on Holcroft at the moment, so I'd be looking to see that kind of change a little bit, because Dutram's seeming to find and control that front end at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely receiving every second pass. And Vincent Cook comes out. Look, and, you know, for me, that was a healthy contest. Like, you know, like Vincent Cook sort of had front position, but the angle was just slightly off.
Look, got to expect to go after the ball in those circumstances, and you could see his eyes light up and run at it. No issues with the body contact.
And that's 5-3 in favour of the Dragons. Can they move this margin out to 3? Suns need to work some really hard defensive pressure in this passage of play here. And like you mentioned, Dutram just getting all the space in the world at the moment. Maybe that's a tactic as well. So he drops it off. Hay dropping it off, finding Hay circle edge. Sampson not wanting that range, wants to inch himself a little bit closer. And ball fumbles around, but it drops for him.
Yeah, I'd like to see Saxon Hay find a little bit more body as he starts to make his way up through the 23s ranks as well, possibly into opens.
Oh, and Mahrez, great read and great sort of intercept by him to, you know, bring his team back down the court. And missed attempt. Can't collect the rebound. And, you know, it's going to go in swings and roundabouts this game. So it's only early days. We've sort of had 6-7 minutes of play. And a lifted pass to Thompson. Balances along the baseline. And gets another goal for the Suns.
Yeah, great balance shown from Thompson. Really just pulled that one in. Wasn't a fantastic pass into the circle, but he was able to fix up the damage.
Yeah, 6 plays forward. Dutram really balancing on the ball inside the circle to avoid him going offside.
Yeah, very smart play there from Dutram.
And just a little drop pass. And that's a great goal from the South Australian Dragons. They lead 7-4 in this first quarter of this elimination final. Jordan strong on the take, gets some heavy body contact. What can they do here? They've got a free player. How do they use it? As Mahrez caught out a play outside the circle edge, goes long. Don't think Thompson was quite ready for that one. And just lets the ball bounce so he can go closer to post, and little dish off. Jordan right underneath the post. He should get this done, and he does.
Yeah, smart play from Queensland. It didn't feel like there was an extra pass that it was there, and it was a good use of the fact that you could bring someone close. It wasn't a forced ball.
Well, that's actually Jordan's first goal for the game, so I think that might have just been a, you know, welcome into the elimination final. Let's get some work done. And sometimes you shooters just need that confidence to go to post.
For sure.
As I speak about confidence, that's a great long-range shot.
Yeah, confident shot there from Sampson. Look, I watched him a couple of times this week, and that seems to be the thing that he looks to do is control that front end and find the ball in the circle, put the ball through the ring.
Oh, and Morton looks direct to post, finds Jordan. And that's his second already for the game. So, Dan, what do you think, from a tactics and strategy point of view, do you think the Dragons have come into this game with?
Well, I think they're wanting to stay steady and calm, realising that there's probably a little bit more on the line. They had a pressure game already yesterday to get into finals, so I think that helps. It gives you the mindset that you can do it, you can pull it out when you need to. So I think that's helpful, and just probably would have been able to go look at the tape or realise how they felt from the morning's game and take that steady approach which they had yesterday into today.
And a nice little deflection, and Vincent Cook mops up at the back. Morton goes down the line, finds Cron. Cron looks in, and Thompson couldn't quite control it, but they will get the goal line pass.
Yeah, dangerous tip from Thompson, or attack at the ball. I think he probably needed to pull that in with two hands instead of trying to outmuscle the South Australian defender.
And both shooters sort of on ball side and through the legs, just trying to get the defence done. So offloading to Thompson. Oh, thought about it, and it drops eventually.
Sat up there on the rim there, but drops in for Thompson.
And they've been able to bring this margin down to 2, the Suns. So, you know, very much alive in this game early. And nice defensive pressure on the outside from Morton. Probably just a bit of a knock on the hand, so drawing the contact out, and nice little pop out. Good defensive jump over the shot. Collects his own rebound though. That's Taylor, and it'll go through for the second time. Yeah,
great work from Freddie Taylor. Realised that drop short up for the rebound. That's what you want to see every goaler do if that ball drops short.
I love the change of direction just from the prelims that the Cron needed to do to get that centre pass receipt. And good hands over pressure, but caught as the obstruction, so both plays should be out. So Cron working with his fellow mid-quarter, has to go wide to Jordan. And again, just a patient build-up from the Suns. They wait for it to open. And Jordan, receiving the ball from, had a great screen set from Thompson. And that's another goal for the Suns here.
Yeah, I feel like Jordan's doing a lot of work on the outside of the circle or setting up the structure for Queensland. We'd like to see that both the wing attack and the centre in the play a little bit more, getting free of some body.
Oh, Dutram just hitting circle edge beautifully on second phase and finds Freddie Taylor at the back there. So, we've got 11 goals to 8 in favour of the Dragons. And hands over pressure here, so they're just working themselves towards circle edge, having to do the front cut. There's a bit of slip off, and Mahrez gets a nice little deflection there against Morton. Jordan has to go front position, so he will get the dish off. Thompson steadies under the post. Nice little roll off there from Sampson. But, couldn't connect the pass to Hayes, so be a Dragons throw in. What can they set up? Both shooters at the post. And nice little drive by Vincent Cook, doing his best to get that deflection, just interfering.
Yeah, not a great set on the hold there. Really allowed Vincent Cook to get into the contest.
And a contact outside the circle as well, so he'll get a free pass as Dutram. He's had, probably the most feeds out of the two mid-quarters for the Dragons so far. But Sampson will look to pass off. No, yeah, it is outside the circle. And we call it the data set up from the defenders, defence, attack, so that at least one of the defenders can get hands over the ball if the first one misses. So they're just asked to be resetting the penalty. And you can tell that shot was short. They will get another attempt at it though. Look at the work by Morton, off ball on the circle edge. He's really hustling, corralling around that circle edge. He's really having to try and fight for that circle edge positioning, and that's a great little dish off.
Yeah, better hold from Freddie Taylor there, able just to find the space underneath the post, and a quick give from Sampson.
And like you said, Dan, both sides having a bit of a measured approach. No one's sort of taking too many risks yet.
Yeah, great tap from Thompson, able to find Cron on the outside of the circle. really kept possession for Queensland and finishes off with the goal.
And, you know, this is what we expect from finals netball as well, don't we?
Yeah, digging in deep, making sure you're up for the ball. Great touch from Morton.
Maharas will take the sideline throw in for the Dragons. Opts to go long. Has to go all the way back. Oh, no one there on the line. And it was an offensive. It was contact against Maharas, who was desperate for that ball. This could be a moment for the Suns to break back. And yeah, Thompson left alone. Obstruction called against Ashworth. And Thompson delivers. You know, they've got a chance now to level the scoreboards with his centre pass. What do the Suns do here? What structure do they run? Thompson comes out, not needed. Jordan just working himself in, leaving the one-on-one in the circle. Thompson, fadeaway, didn't get the shot though.
Yeah, not a great ball placement there from the Queensland team. Really put Thompson under pressure.
Maharas just connecting down the court. No one in front of Dutram. Oh, came off the foot. Sampson will line up. Oh, excuse me, that's Freddie Taylor. And delivering for the Dragons. You know, now can the Dragons push this lead out? Thought they had an opportunity gone begging earlier. Queensland Suns couldn't make them pay. Dutram with the ball in hand. They've got to be a bit game savvy or aware. The clock is running down to the final 20 seconds here in this first quarter. And nice delivery from Dutram. And great goal there for the South Australian Dragons. It is the Queensland feed. And that'll do us for the first quarter here. The Dragons currently leading 14 goals to 11. Had a great jump early. Thought the Suns had a mini run through that middle passage, and then, you know, the Dragons pulling away at the end of the quarter there. So stay tuned with us. We've got a brilliant second 15 minutes of netball coming up right after this. Sorry, I keep talking. 12 to 13 Vic. No, I got people. Nerves in that first quarter. Like, I was expecting it to be a bit like frantic, but it actually. Yeah. But there's everything on the line. When we come back, yeah, I'll recap and then I'll just talk to you about like, what do you think what are the coaches telling the teams?
Yeah.
Oh, sponsor read. AMMNA Championships 2023, proudly supported by Blade and WA, Great Temptation Sweet Treats, Spudshed, West Coast Fever, and Netball WA. The Queensland Suns are proudly supported by Future Gen, Results Physiotherapy, and Game Clothing. Welcome back to Bendat Stadium here. It is the elimination final between South Australia and Queensland. The Dragons are currently up 14 goals to 11. My name is Mandy Love, and joining me in expert commentary is Dan Cook. Dan, what were the messages from the coaching staff at the break?
Yeah, interesting from Queensland coaching staff. Saw them say almost the same thing as what we talked about up here in commentary. A little bit of separation, getting themselves off the body, especially in the wing attack centre role, so that they can able to find their ball carrier in Jordan and getting through the court. Well, not a great start here for Queensland, unfortunately. Look, South Australia, both ends really spoke about them attacking ball that's in the air and making sure that they're pulling it in. A couple of times the ball's been up in the air, delivery into Jordan and Thompson in that defensive end for South Australia, and the South Australian bench really look at getting the boys to pull that in. So
interesting change that I've noticed here for the Suns in their defensive circle. So Vincent Cook has dropped back into keeper, and looks like Kingy has rolled in at goal defence. So I've seen him play primarily in that sort of centre wing attack role this week. So be interesting to see what his impact is in that goal circle in partnership with Vincent Cook. And Dutram, again, having all the space. And, Taylor just overcooked, but Sampson regathers for him and slots it through the goal. And it's the start that they needed. And Jordan coming out to help defensively putting pressure over each and every pass. And Holcroft getting in the mix of things. Quiet first quarter by his standards, I feel.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. Quiet first quarter. I felt like Dutram had the edge for the majority of that one. But great touch there.
And defense pressure, great by the Suns. You know, they've inside their little box formation that they've set up. And there's no one from the Dragons really punching through. Happy to sort of sag on the outside, and Holcroft gets up but goes offside. The play has been allowed to continue, and King just called for the obstruction call. They'll have to reset that, so Sampson needs to recollect and gather his composure, and gets another one through.
Yeah, 5-goal lead now for South Australia. Queensland really need to think about staying measured and making sure that they can put balls on the scoreboard.
Because we know that they can shoot. It's just getting that connection down. And as we say, they put the mocker on Jordan, who's been fantastic all week, a real leader within this Suns team. Dutram, he's been fantastic so far. So I'm interested to see if Jeremy Marchong for the Suns comes on as, you know, some impact and potentially swinging Jordan down the defence just to try and help sort of win some ball back from the Dragons, who are just really measured in their approach this morning. And that's a great little tip-off by Jordan.
Yeah, great defensive pressure from the goal attack. Just able to get his hands in the way. Queensland now in possession.
Must get a score here, though. They need to bring this lead down. They've been in finals netball before, so this is nothing new. So sort of this margin probably won't worry them. They'd like it probably to be a little bit closer, or if not in the lead. But, you know, they're happy to play it out. And Jordan pirouettes and gets the call. So sets up for the penalty. Bounces out from the back of the ring. So Thompson will line up. Advantage goal played. So 17 plays 12. So back to 5 with the centre pass. They're just struggling to get depth on second phase, aren't they? An offensive contact call against Cron. That was beautiful defensive work from the Dragons, really forcing all the Suns high in that goal third. Yeah,
we just want to see them kind of start to take a drive through the court, but then pop off and away from the body instead of trying to take the body on. And just, it allows for the attackers to find a nice way to throw the ball to them, but it also means that they're not putting themselves under pressure when moving the ball through the court.
And, you know, these sort of obstruction and contact calls inside the shooting circle is not helping their cause either, because these shooters for the Dragons are on today. Just allows them another shot at goal if there is a miss. So something you want to probably clean up if you're in the defensive circle for Queensland. Yeah, no easy second attempts either. So Dutram, we've been speaking about him a lot today. He offloads it to Hay, who has to go back to transverse. And Dutram couldn't control it, so he gets the call the Suns' way. Yeah, can see not popping off the body, really wanting to take the body on of Holcroft, and that probably is the reason why it caused the turnover. Vincent Cook with the throw-in. Holcroft. Oh, King couldn't. It was almost a bit casual with the approach with the one-handed catch and really needed to rip it in with two. And Hay, lucky to be able to regather. And again, happy just to work it in nicely. And beautiful little shooter-to-shooter. Oh, and Samson finding that mid-range shot.
Yeah, love the confidence of the South Australian shooters just to put it up from mid-range. Really haven't missed many today.
No. And all of a sudden, does this sort of scoreboard pressure start to affect the Suns' approach to the game?
Yeah, it definitely does. I don't think you want to let a margin out past 6 or 7. Really want to keep it in as close as you possibly can or have the lead.
And box set up indirectly by the Suns. And nice work coming through the middle is Dutram. Freddie Taylor pops through middle lane as well. And that's Hay who offloads. He's got to go to post. Oh, and he delivers, Samson. That's 2 in a row from that sort of mid to long range vicinity in the circle. So
it's a confident shot with a swish.
Absolutely. Swish, swish. How do the Suns respond? And they are almost doing a mini zone, like especially around the decals, around the top of the circle, just trying to prevent the Suns mid-quarters hitting circle edge.
Yeah, I'm interested by the choice to kind of almost run that space marking, because I think they've done a really good job of being on the body at times. So I'd probably look at changing that one back and making sure that you're making Queensland feel like they were under the body pressure, because body pressure at the end of the week is really hard.
I wonder if it's just a case of like different strategies for a couple of minutes and then switching back to the man-on-man. And again, these penalties proving costly as they walk the shooters closer to the post. They need to make some minor adjustments here in order to stay in play. And nice little pass from Jordan. Finding Cron. He's had a really difficult day so far against Maharas. I think Maharas has done a great job against him. And Thompson just so safe with the ball in hand under the post. Just needs more volume, really, doesn't he? Just needs more service from his front line.
Yeah, I think that comes also from the front end, the mid-court from Queensland not able to find circle edge, so it's a lot harder to get that ball into Maya Thompson.
And then, just look at Samson rolling that front. Yeah, he's had the last 3 goals in a row for the Dragons, so I think, they need to pay him some respect and get on that shot and prevent him from entering the circle as best they can.
He doesn't look like missing at the moment. He's confident. His confidence is really high, rolling through the front, just having easy access to the ball, and that is dangerous for a goaler that can shoot at range.
And Thompson again, better passage of play by the Suns. But, defensive pressure now needs to occur here to win ball back. Just to keep them in the contest, within range. And time held as the ball spills over from show court number 2. Oh, Hay with a great little shimmy and shake to get circle edge. And there's this man, Samson. That's his 4th in a row.
Yeah, that roll through the front really causing damage for Queensland at the moment, and because he can turn and put the ball up from that mid-range space, it's really hard to defend.
I'm very interested to see what the Suns coaching staff do at the main break, seeing if they make any positional changes. Oh, great little hands from Ashworth, but Thompson gets the refeed. And great job. And we see a positional change here in the substitution box for the Suns. It will be in that wing attack position, so it looks like Cron will come off, and I believe Price will come on. So what impact does Bryce bring to this game? Price, excuse me. As the Dragons just continue to add to their scoreboard tally. So straight into the mix after being on the bench to start us off with. Oh, there it is. That just pace, really, isn't it? Just getting himself onto circle edge. It's probably what they were missing. He adds a little bit more height too, just fractionally.
Yeah, looks like he's got a little bit of a different movement pattern as well. So looking to probably get himself off the body of Maharis and find that circle edge so that the ball can be easily delivered into the goaler of Thompson.
So 7 goals the margin here. And just thought it might have been in contact with the use of the inside arm, but it wasn't called. So Suns ball. Oh, and great defensive pressure, but again, Thompson so clever at the back to mop up the mess.
Yeah, he's got great body position, so even if the pass isn't perfect, he's always able to be the first one to get to the ball.
And he protects himself too. in his space. So Taylor out, Sampson in. And then he's just teeing off, and he's got that top of the circle rolling really nicely.
Yeah, Queensland defenders really letting Sampson have his way inside the circle. Not a lot of body pressure, just allowing Sampson to kind of get through in that instance. He's just able to open Freddie Taylor up.
And, again, because we don't know what's happening within team as well throughout the course of the week, there could be injuries, there could be little niggles as to why certain players are running in positions or maybe even out of position. But, this is a massive game for them. Like, whoever, goes down today, that is the end of their national championships. As Dutram hitting the deck from the attention of Morton. And nice little pop and drop done by the Dragons. Sampson going out the front and Taylor at the back. 2 options to the feeder. We enter the last 5 minutes of this second quarter. What can the Suns do to bring this down? Jordan, definitely the playmaker role. And just a badly placed pass by the replacement in Price and wing attack. That's going to really cost them here.
Yeah.
And the Dragons just look up today. Oh. Missed shot though. And things just falling in the way of the Dragons.
Yeah, it is. I think that was lucky for South Australia. I reckon Freddie Taylor, a nice little swipe at that one. But Sampson probably let himself down, put multiple balls up from range, and then, every goalless nightmare, that shot right underneath the ring.
But he's happy to do a mid-range. Yeah. Happy to do a mid-range. And
I feel for him. I hated a mid-range.
Yeah.
I love a mid-range shot, but he put me under the ring. Oh, the nerves.
Oh, and nice little stoppage there by King. And Taylor out. Sampson in.
Ooh. Hey, great take.
Dutram. Who's he going to connect to? And just finding Sampson. Nicely done. And just around the pole in the ring. So this is probably the biggest lead that we've seen of the game. So out to 9. Probably not the scoreline we were expecting this game, but I am here for what the Dragons are bringing on this show court. Like, they are here to win today.
Yeah, definitely here to win today. Look, they had a close game with WA a couple of times, really. Took out Victoria yesterday. I think they're really thinking that they're in with a shot to make the grand final if they can put it together.
When they play like this, absolutely they can. But, it's about having a strong performance for either one of these teams here this morning and then being able to back it up, just a shy 5 hours later. That's a tall ask for these athletes at this age group to really sort of have that mental resilience to get themselves up and across the line.
Yeah, very, very tough, especially at this level of netball.
And these games are not easy games. And Dutram strong on circle edge. Sampson lining up. Great jump by King. And swish, swish again from Sampson.
Look, he's impressive for me again today. It was great in the games I've seen so far, but he just controls that front end for South Australia and is really helpful. The connection that he has both with Dutram and with Hay.
And I think between him and Taylor are doing a really nice job. Like, Taylor will have a couple of minutes where he'll be the main goaler, and then Sampson will supply to him, and then they'll do the role reversal. So they're just mixing it up really nicely, which is causing a bit of havoc for the Suns defenders today. Yeah,
you really need that out of your other goaler when one maybe is possibly doing a lot of damage, is that when they get the ball, when they pop in, that they're also just as damaging, and it really makes it hard for the defensive pairings to make the decision. Yeah, so Holcroft went offside, but the umpire played advantage, and then the ball spilt out over the baseline there. So it'd be a Suns feed, Suns throw in. For me, critical moment right now for the Suns. Definitely a critical moment. It's the margin's out at 8, so you want to be bringing it back in just a minute left in the quarter. And what did the Suns do defensively here to win ball back? Again, looks like there's space marking just at the front of the third, and Hay just on cue in the space that we talked about, running the line of the ball. Yeah, I like what Price did ultimately in there. Just ended up being a little bit flat, which meant that Hay was able to stay with him, getting himself a little bit of depth, would have just opened up the court for him, made it easy for the ball to go out into the space. And Hay finding the danger man in Sampson. Oh, missed attempt. And Taylor
That's a nice timed intercept by Holcroft on circle edge. Probably one of the hardest intercepts to take.
Definitely great reach, though, to get in front of Dutram. So the long arms from him really just coming into play there.
And Morton just can't control the ball here. Has to go play it back to Jordan. And nice little opening. Oh, off the post as well. Thompson. And they've got the feed as well. So centre pass. Oh, and umpires have called time. So 2.5 seconds on the clock. So they don't need to throw this pass if they're smart. And obstruction call. So, you know, as we return after the main break, it should be a Dragons centre pass. So really dominant quarter by the Dragons in terms of getting up on the unforced errors by the Suns. Dan, what are your thoughts on how the Suns bring themselves back into this contest?
Oh, I think they've just got to remain steady in the front end. I'd like to see them get off the body a little bit, stopping the South Australian Dragons from just being in the play. And look, they're not out of it at the moment. 7 goals can be brought back in, and it's really just a couple of turnovers, and all of a sudden the nerves come for South Australia, and that changes the feeling of the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So stay with us in a few short minutes. We'll be back with this 23 and unders elimination semi-final between South Australia and Queensland. Welcome back to Bendet Stadium here in Perth, WA. We are hosting the Australian Men's and Mixed Netball Championships. We've got a cracker of an elimination final on our hands between the South Australian Dragons, currently leading 20 goals, against last year's national champs, the Queensland Suns, who are on 22 goals. My name is Mandy Love, and joining me is Dan Cook. Dan, what a game.
Yeah, it's great so far. Just a couple of little errors from Queensland let the lead slip out a little bit. Apart from that kind of 3 or 4 minutes where South Australia were able to score some goals in a row, this game is an absolute cracker.
And I don't see any change. Oh, yes, we've got Vincent Cook off for the Suns, who takes a spell on the bench, and he's replaced by a new goalkeeper.
Yeah, Watson.
So
Watson comes back on.
He's been a regular feature in this defensive circle, so maybe just trying to bring something different to the lineup.
Yeah, it gives them a little bit more height. Watson back onto the court, and I think that was a little bit exploited at times during that second quarter. So a return to the court there for Watson.
So it'd be a penalty pass from Dutram. And Dragons lining up, and yeah, he is just on song today, Sampson. When he is on, it is a very dangerous game for anyone versing the Dragons. Let me put that way.
Oh yeah, he's just able to roll into that front space so beautifully at the moment, and that confidence on the shot, except for the one that he missed slightly just under the ring. He's been great in the goal circle today.
Jordan lines up and replies straight away for the Suns. We were trying to listen into the Queensland Suns coaching bench at the main break, and they're very tricky, talking very quietly, their coaching staff, much to our dismay. But you could definitely see that they were looking at trying to address preventing the supply into the South Australian shooters. Yeah,
definitely a conversation, some time spent with the defenders. Also, Lockie Dean spending some time with the goal circle as well.
And great take in the air from Thompson. And I think he's only missed one this game that I've seen so far.
Yeah, I think you're right as well. Just the one miss for Thompson.
He's been very accurate. And he's willing his side on, to get up with that hands over pressure, and they fall into the box through the middle lane. So they've got to attack it, and Hay doing a great job driving to pocket. Dutram off circle edge and finds himself back on. And both shooters going into the back space, and King just collecting a contact. And Sampson punishing them at post. Currently 32, plays 25, so still with a 7-goal lead are the Dragons.
Ooh.
I don't think she knew which way she was going to call that one initially.
Yeah.
We all sort of held our breath there.
Look, I think that's a great hold from Thompson. It's just a poor delivery that really puts him under pressure to have to reel that ball in.
And, for me, that pass to Jordan should have been like a snap pass.
Yeah, just an example. Spilling out, though, over the goal line. Queensland won't be happy with that error.
No, because all of their centre passes matter right now. So, they're not winning a ton of ball defensively. They did it in the first half, I should say. So, their possession really needs to be converted into points. Hay just held up. Mahara's doing a great job being a reset option on the transverse line. And offensive contact call against. So that this is a huge win for Queensland. Must make them pay. So Taylor was out of play, but they've played on. No, they're resetting it. So Watson will find King. He's right in front of him. There's wide from Price. Resets. And again, here comes the box set up from the Dragons. And Price easily breaking that far left corner.
Yeah, but even just the two in the circle, letting Thompson have that front space a little too easily for my liking. Thompson able to put that ball away.
And that's one of the things about when you decide to space much. All four defenders need to be on the same page and sort of directing the line of the ball versus you reacting to where the ball has landed.
Yeah, not letting them have the front space just so easily as well, giving them some body pressure whilst you're marking some space. It's not just all about that. You've got to not let someone have the space in your area.
You've got to almost hedge it as well, just to show that you're willing to attack that ball if they enter your zone. And here come the Suns. They've had their first break in this quarter. Oh, Hay came out for a fly. Was worth a look too. anything parallel needs to be attacked by the defenders. Jordan hitting that front space. Thompson says go to post. Just dribbles out and contact against Thompson.
Yeah, disappointing that the goal didn't go through, but you can see that when they can get off the body, the ball moves for Queensland a lot better, and they're not having to worry about so much.
And nice hustle from Morton there. And again, just this patient little, like almost a drop in speed from the Dragons here. So it's almost like they're taking the game that Queensland Suns want to play, this up-tempo, fast-paced game, really down a notch, playing their game. Oh, Watson.
Oh, offside. Holcroft unfortunately goes inside the circle.
I'm going to say Watson read that like a book. The library was open and he just swept through there. And Taylor.
That is what Queensland need, though, is to take some risks, take some chances. They did a great job in their space marking box. South Australia struggled to penetrate through, and then as soon as that ball was up in the air, someone had a crack at that ball.
Absolutely, and I just want to talk to me about the pressure that these players are under now, just to perform in these big moments as we enter this, entering this second half of the elimination final.
Oh, look, it can be nervous, but it's also the time that you want to be out there as a player. These are the important moments, and this is the ones that you go back and you remember. If you can do the job. It's about relying on all the training that you do, the work you do with your teammates. Oh, Searle up for the ball. Great work there, yeah. But really, you're looking at trying to rely on all the hard work that you've done throughout the championship.
And Price getting possession of that pass as well, so they're not able to convert the Searle intercept. I feel like we haven't spoken enough about Searle today, but I feel like that's because he's stayed in play and he's doing his job in terms of putting that applied pressure to the Suns' front line.
Yeah, I don't know that it's necessarily the touches that are coming through Searle, but it's the arms over pressure and the delay of the entry into the circle that are really helping South Australia and able to pull in balls or cause ball turnover.
Because really the only way they're going into the Sun circle is up into Thompson. So 29 plays 33, so back to within 4. So they've done a really good job these last few minutes of just, closing the gap. The Suns will know, though, as well, that they've got a lot of time left in this game. Time is held. So Holcroft, there's a caution there. And he's advanced it forward for a penalty pass. So it wasn't set.
Oh.
And Holcroft may have got the caution, but collects the intercept, so gets his own back.
Yeah, too much playing around with the ball in the South Australian attack line. Didn't gain any distance, swung it back out, and Holcroft getting the tip.
Oh, nice touch there by Ashworth too. I thought Thompson did a really good job in terms of spacing and keeping him high in the circle and dropping to post. But maybe a touch too early off the hold initially. Thompson lining up. Short on the shot. Gets his rebound, collects the second attempt. Great job by the Suns here. It's back to within 3 now. It's starting to get interesting. You can start to feel, 1, the momentum shift in terms of the Suns' way, and 2, the intensity really picking up now.
Yeah, change now for South Australia. Hamilton comes on into wing attack. We see Dutram come over, grab the centre bib as well. So let's look for him to re-enter the court shortly as well.
So, we talked about the pressure on the players to perform, but then, equally it's the coaching staff as well. Ultimately the call falls on them about who they put out on court to get the job done. And, these tactical changes are key in changing the momentum and swing of the game and the flow of the game.
That's right, and a miss now for Sampson. You can see what the scoreboard pressure does for you. He's had sweet shots throughout the rest of the morning. That's right. However, that one there, you put yourself under pressure, the ball drops a little bit short.
And the Suns just again patiently working themselves down to circle edge. Oh, nice outside arm by Searle. Mahrez. The Dragons enter their goal third. Here is the new wing attack we spoke about earlier, who's just entered the game. Oh, King, obstruction. Got a touch on the ball though. Does that affect a shooter's confidence going to post, Dan, when there is a block?
Look, it can, and that's really hard for you to get out of your head. You've got to remember, if you throw the ball into hands, you don't change your shot. You don't really do anything different. One block, you've just got to let it go. Trust the instincts, trust the technique that you have, and continue to keep putting it back up. 3 or 4 down the track blocks. Maybe it's time to look at what it is that I need to do. Step back.
Better circle rotation by the Suns there. And just like that, looks like Hay is now into wing attack and Dutram in at centre. Wonder if that's a lineup, like a matchup call, or just something different in the middle.
Yeah, it might be looking at just like allowing for the legs to be fresher in defence as well. Maybe not getting as much out of Hay defensively. You know, allows for them to switch over positions. I've seen them play this week already as well, so just an option for them.
And Sampson keeping it in. Dutram backed up by Hay, and just a contact call against Holcroft.
Dutram's found the floor a few times today.
Yeah, he has. Well, he's running a really hard line to the ball as well, and King coming through. That's a great timed intercept.
Yeah, the ball just dropped a little bit short,
short.
And had to get Sampson, had to get through onto the ball, and he just didn't have the right line. King was just able to come through on the nice angle drive.
So composure needed here by the Suns in order to score this from this passage of play. Jordan with the ball in hand. Who does he connect to? Morton. And nicely weighted pass into Thompson at the back.
Yeah, Queensland a bit flat throughout the court then, but Thompson eventually able to find some space, open himself up under the post.
Just Sampson connecting to Dutram. Hay running towards the pocket, not needed, and he finds himself on top of the circle. And nice little change of positioning from Sampson. Oh, confident to post. That's 36-33 in favour of the Dragons. We've got a ball game on our hand. Oh, Morton all alone. Thompson, a lot rests on his shoulders today for the Suns.
Definitely does, but it's also because Jordan does a lot of ball carrying up higher, so he's not necessarily relieving the pressure inside the circle. He is when he's getting in there, but he's really leaving some of the pressure on the outside of the circle as well, and able to put balls in to Mai Thompson.
And Sampson, oh sorry, that was Freddie Taylor taking the mid-range that time. Oh, and look, and Sells just a little bit like left Jordan all alone, so he sort of missed that connection. They're probably focusing primarily on Thompson at the back here. And missed attempt, and that's a really timely rebound call by the Dragons. They've got to get it down court though. Hayes still running through the legs. It's been great to see him, and Dutram hitting circle edge as they read off one another. Oh, great block from Watson. Late call, so Morton out of play. Has to go back to the transverse line. They want to reset it. And again, there's that 2 or 3 options that they always have at the ball, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, Taylor sneaks closer.
And timeout called here.
So an intimidation caution.
So can you explain to the viewers at home what that means, Dan?
Yeah, part of the rule book is that you can't intimidate the opposition, which seems very strange sometimes as a defender,
yep.
because that's the aim. But the wave in the face is what Stuart Ting spoke about, and part of the rule book is any intimidation call automatically gives you a caution or that next level up in the warning system. So a caution there delivered to Watson.
Now, we have seen a couple of upgrades to the warnings throughout the championships, and I believe we actually have had 2 official send-offs as well. One in the Opens and one in the 17s division. So, you know, we've got to adjust here now.
Yeah, not something necessarily almost to worry about yet. That caution is a requirement, so it's not a calming of the body. It's the rule book that states it. But you know, body out of line a little bit further down the line when it's in a tough tussle, it could come back to Horton Watson.
So that's another goal to the Suns. So they trail by 4. And they're not quite too sure who to cover right now, because you know, we saw them sort of double backing on Taylor, which left Sampson free just to float the top of the circle.
Yeah, it was a great hold there from Taylor, and he was able to find space, a lot of space for the ball to be thrown into. So there's a lot of space for him to run onto, which makes it easier for the ball to be delivered, not having to worry about Watson's arms.
And time is held as ball spills out of court. We've got 50 seconds left on the timer within the third quarter of this elimination final. And Dutram, and that's what he was probably put into that centre role to lift the defensive efforts for the Dragons.
Yeah, definitely was. Great bust through the middle here from Sampson. Opens the court up for South Australia.
And nice weight too, drawing the contact of Morton outside the circle. Taylor. Nice jump from Watson, and couldn't collect the rebound, so he was allowed to go back out to Dutram, finding Hay. And that's a nice little passage of play by the shooters for the Dragons. Just need to get it through the net. They've got 10 seconds and just a bit of ill discipline to close out this third quarter. So it'll be a free shot to Taylor. And delivers for the South Australian Dragons. And as the buzzer goes, that is 41 plays 35 in favour of the Dragons. So with a healthy 6-goal lead leading into the final quarter of this eliminations final. Let's see if the South Australian Dragons can take it home in this next 15 minutes. Stay with us. Oh my God, yes. Oh, okay, 30 to 40 to Vic now. Jesus, they only scored 6 goals that quarter.
Looking forward to seeing
In this division? Yeah. It's funny, like, I think Sampson's got to be up.
well, I think he's going to be up with a shot.
He's got to be in the conversation.
I think Denholm is the
Shooter? Yeah.
That's, for me, has been.
I'd like to see Wade in the conversation without sounding biased.
It's going to be very interesting as to who the Chiefs open to be interesting.
It's funny being a fly on the wall in there the other day. It's just sort of, it's like because we're looking at it positionally, and it's all like,
Yeah.
it's so hard to qualify because of the rotations as well.
Yes.
And welcome back to Bendat Stadium, coming to you live with the AMMNA Championships 2023, courtesy of Clutch TV. We've got the elimination final in the 23 and under division. We've got the Queensland Suns hunting down a 6-goal deficit against the Southern Australian Dragons. My name is Mandy Love, and joining me today is Dan Cook. Dan, 15 minutes of netball to play. Who gets out on top?
Yeah, it really does feel like South Australia's just got the momentum to come back into their space. The margin was back to 3. Queensland really putting the pressure onto the Dragons. However, a couple of turnover balls and the Dragons pushed the margin back out to 6. Look, I think they'll be hopeful that they can continue what it is that they've delivered today and come out with the win.
And now big call here by the coaching staff. They've brought on Ma Chong for the Suns in at that goal shooter position. He has been a very handy player to bring on to rest certain players down their front end, and particularly Thompson, who'd had a great service for the first 3 quarters. I'm excited to see what Ma Chong brings to this game. But I think, for me, defensively, they've got to get more wins down here.
Yeah, I think Watson's getting some hand to ball. However, he's also allowing free ball into the circle with easy access for South Australia. So a couple of things for them to think about in regards to the rotations.
And there's that strong hold, and he just dishes off to Jordan, turning to post. So Watson out of play. And, for a focus area for me for the Suns, they really need to contain the work that Sampson's doing as well. Like, he's just free as a bird right now. No one on him off that centre pass receipt.
Yeah, they're doubling it back into a double, which, you can see Freddie Taylor's had a couple of balls back to post, but allowing Sampson just to have free run is not helpful to get turnover ball.
And they need to get the turners. They're boxing out, though, which is good, but the Dragon shooters up to task. And they're storming the centre pass, are the Dragons. So what that means is that the goal attack and wing attack actually shoot down and put defensive hands over pressure, filling the space. Ma Chong. And that's his goal for the fourth quarter. So great to see him enter the game.
Yeah, it was great movement from Ma Chong. Although he got the ball in the back space, was able to lose the defender, making himself very clear under the post. And an obstruction call against Holdcroft. And you see Freddie Taylor with the big arm up, asking for that ball to post. Well, he's just very smart. He's letting them sit in their 2-on-1 back on him, allowing Sampson to do all the work, allowing South Australia to get the ball to the circle. And then as soon as they peel off, he's blocked out the other defender and finding himself under the post.
And Jordan just off balance. Didn't connect the pass to Ma Chong. However, they do get the feed. So very fortunate for the Suns here. This is a must-score opportunity. And, nice little look away. So defensive pressure by Searle. Just interrupting the flow. And just a little dish off from the side, the goal line throw in there. Ma Chong at the post. And look at the Queensland Suns coaches actually trying to coach in the moment as the Dragons come back down through court. Oh, that needs to be stopped. That's way too easy, especially in the fourth quarter.
It is. The issue is that Freddie Taylor's been getting ball underneath the post on that hold, even with the arms of Watson, and I think that's distracting King in at goal defence. And I think maybe a couple of changes in that space, but I feel like Watson's just in the wrong space to get turnover ball.
I would like to see Watson come out hunting, like really attack it, especially in the second phase for the Dragons, because they like to get a bit of depth.
Yeah, what's making it easy for Freddie Taylor is he's not getting a back hold, he's getting this side hold, which allows for South Australia to put the ball into space away from Watson, and that's where the issues are coming for Queensland.
And just a patient build-up by the Dragons here, finding circle edge through Dutram. And, great work by King.
That comes from the foot movement and the working around the outside of the body. It confuses the space. South Australia leave the ball up in the air for a little bit too long, and he's able to come onto it and get the turnover.
And if there was ever a time for the Suns to get a turnover, it was then. And Jordan hesitates had to sort of do the first initial pump. He'll relax on the shot now and delivers for the Suns. So they get a break early, so they can reduce this margin down to 4 if they score off this centre pass. And great drive from Morton, finding Jordan. He just couldn't regather it in his hands. Right idea. Couldn't land the catch. Mahrez, he's been solid for the Dragons in wing defence in that connecting play long court. Sampson.
Yeah, he's just able to find easy space there in the circle. King not really showing enough body or movement to delay the entry from Sampson.
We've got an all-star 7 that gets selected in every division across the AMMNA Championships this week. So only 7 get selected in this 23 and under division. There are too many options to choose from.
I have to agree with you there. I've seen a lot of the under 23s throughout the week, and look, I'm struggling to pick it at the moment.
You have at least 2 or 3 contenders in each position, don't you, really?
Yeah.
And it's really hard to sort of select the one who's out on top because they have different impacts for their teams in different games. So King with the ball has to kick it all the way back to Watson. Watson finds Price. Nice little mid-court press here by the Dragons. And Price finding circle edge. Nice little dodge around by Jordan. Swing ball, good hold. And good screen set. And just a badly placed ball. But he was able to make something of it. Great goal by Ma Chong.
Yeah, the screen probably didn't stick in it for long enough for me either, but Queensland still able to keep possession and put the ball through the ring.
So we've got just under 10 minutes to play here in this elimination final. You know, they're really both teams playing for an opportunity to play against Western Australia or Victoria in the preliminary final this afternoon at 3:30. Results pending. And breaking call against Price. You know, that's just not going to add to it. Maharas, though, looks ginger on the foot. I think it's his calf or the front of his shin.
Yep.
Left leg.
That one's probably a little bit of a reward for Maharas, though. However, he's been solidly, in the game, but he's not doing anything special. He is asking to come off, but he's been really good for them today in just shutting down both wing attacks.
So Dutram, he's been outstanding today. Oh, nice little touch from Watson. I liked what he did there. Had a crack outside circle edge. He's got the long arm span to really disrupt that flow.
Yeah, and that's what Queensland need. Now they need to start taking some risks and going after the ball around the SA circle.
Oh, great elevation from King. Can they get the rebound? Yes, they can. So Dutram out of play. And again, though, the Suns need to attack this ball. Morton goes down, connects in the cross court to Price. And just ball placement really costing the Suns in this game.
Yeah, change there for South Australia as well. We see Glasgow come onto the court for Maharas. I think that's going to be an interesting change as well because he brings a lot of height to that end. Yeah,
it was a drag by Dutram under a lot of attention and just couldn't get the feet sorted. You know, I really hope Maharas is okay because if they have to play off this afternoon, I think he will be instrumental for them in the defensive structure. And Ma Chong has come on very strong this quarter.
Now Queensland just need to keep pegging away at the scoreline. There's 6 goals down with 7 minutes to go. Still completely in this match and a couple of turnovers really quickly. Pressure right back on South Australia.
Absolutely. And then there's the pressure for South Australia to score. I mean, they're doing a great job so far, but as that clock winds down and if it gets a little bit closer, that timer becomes a bit of a pressure cooker for the shooters on court. Jordan finds Price and just swings through the baseline. An obstruction call against Watson? Or Ashworth, I think. So if you're the Dragons, Dan, do you look to score fast or do you look to just take your time with it as long as you score, if it just to sort of eat away at the clock?
Oh, I think you just need to play normal netball and make sure that you're continuing to score goals. You don't want to play around with the ball. There's still a good
time left.
6.5 minutes. And hopefully you can trust that the work you do, the structures that you have, will be the things that take you through to score goals continuously.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And Ma Chong had that front hole, but can't land that catch. Good attention given to him by the defenders from the Dragons. Oh, nice work with the ball movement, just getting that outlet pass. I agree with you. He adds something different, doesn't he, this new wing defence? Yeah,
he's just got a little bit more height, a bigger body around the outside of the circle. He's also doing a lot of the ball carrying through the court for them, through the last couple of plays. So, Glasgow might actually be a good little change for the South Australians because it now means that Queensland sees something different.
Yes.
They have a lot more hands to get the ball over.
And see, I really enjoyed what the Suns did defensively there. They all stayed in play and they're really covering that first and second phase, first and second repeated efforts from the Dragons front end. And just, ball out of court. So it'll be a Suns goal line throw in. They've got to get this ball down court. And nice long connection there. Centres it through Jordan. Morton on to circle edge. And who's there at the back? It's Searle. We haven't said his name quite a lot in the first half, but he's definitely popping up in the second half, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely come up with a good couple of touches, finding some good space, taking some risks there for South Australia, getting the turnover ball.
Being known for the right reasons. Big players stepping up in crucial moments.
Oh, defenders for Queensland not realising the ball sitting there on the floor.
A lot more defensive pressure outside the circle now by the Suns. They still find Taylor at the back though. That's a great little goal for the Dragons. So 51 plays, 43, just under 5 minutes to go into elimination final. What last-ditch efforts can the Suns do to try and get this game back out? Are there any players from the bench that can come on and really make a strong impact in this final 5?
Yeah, I think Queensland needs to take some risks now and get some turnover ball if they want to stay at 9 goals. It's hard to reel back in 4 minutes.
It's hard when you've got the Dragons shooters scoring like they are as well. So they've got to be brave early, and that's not sort of going to help their cause. So concern for the Queensland Suns here in the 23 and under divisions. They've got to attack it though. They're just sort of almost being passengers, just watching the ball flow through court early. And Watson doing a great job trying to get a deflection, as is Morton. He's really tried this game. Oh, Taylor, steady at the back, gets the goal through the hoop. And they've now moved, this is the largest lead of the game, it's a 10-goal lead. Oh, hey. Oh. Worth the look from King, I like that.
Yeah, take the risk. Have a go at the ball if it's up in the air with the fly.
Looks like Jordan coming off.
Battersby on.
So King going long to Battersby. Morton goes to the pocket, and interfering is Ashworth. You can see the South Australian bench still really invested with 2.5 minutes to play despite the scoreline. They want their team to see this game all the way through to the final second. Battersby gets up, getting his first goal for the game. And they've got the pass here. So Price connects to Morton. Cross court to Price, and in the backspace is Ma Chong. It's a nice little goal from Ma Chong. Less than 2 minutes to play. Oh, timely intercept from Holcroft. If they can go quick, and nice connection at the post. Oh, possession call. Battersby gets the ball in as well, so they get the centre pass, and just like that, in a quick of a flash, 7 goals. Must go quickly. Oh, I wish he would just take that pass.
Yeah.
Just some game sense.
Well, touch from Ashworth.
And Hay just throwing that balk. Dutram, offside. Yep, free pass Suns. And I like that the Suns are still fighting through. Just again loose pass. So will be a Dragons throw in. So a little bit scrappy here to close out this elimination final, but it's been a very confident game from the Southern Australian Dragons. They're going to be an absolute worry in their preliminary final this afternoon at 3:30. So make sure you join us. It looks like they'll be versing the host state in Western Australia, who are currently down against Victoria. Oh, and King getting a great look in.
Yeah, great work, South Australia. Now this is where you get to think about the reward that you get. And this afternoon's match will be on their minds in about 15 seconds.
And, I really feel for the Queensland Suns. They were chasing back-to-back championships. Again, this 23s division was so tightly contested this week. So they have had a fantastic brand of netball. But it'll be the Dragons getting up in this elimination semi-final, moving through to the prelim against the host state WA as they take out this game 54 goals to 46. Queensland Suns out on their feet. They have been competitive all week, and what a preliminary final we have on our hands. It looks like on the other court, the 20s and under from Queensland just getting up over their interstate counterparts, New South by the solitary goal. So This is what we're here for in finals netball. Dan, thank you so much for joining me. What were your final thoughts on our game here on True Court number 1?
Yeah, I think South Australia showed some real potential in taking out maybe Western Australia this afternoon. If they can string it all together, get Sampson and Taylor working well, the midcourt seem really solid in freeing up some space. I think they could make a real game out of this afternoon's match.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining us this morning. For everyone staying at home and viewing who cannot be here in Perth to support your team, but please join us at 3:30 for the preliminary final. Thanks again.